Today I thought I'd bring something new to the channel, and that is more of a discussion type video of recent games that I have just played. So the first one was obviously going to have to be the game I literally just completed, and that is Shovel Knight for the PlayStation 4. I'm going to be honest, I definitely did not think I would like this game. It's not any of my favourite things. I do not really like 2D games. I'm not the biggest fan of retro style games either. I do kind of enjoy them. I can enjoy them for how simplistic they really are. But recently playing Limbo and saying how that was one of the best sort of 2D platforming games out there for the atmosphere and story and its platforming elements, well, I didn't like that game that much. Like, I didn't enjoy it at all. I thought it was more of a trial and error game where you just keep dying and doing these kind of overrated puzzles that are a bit ridiculous in some places. It started off so strong and ended pretty badly. So when I saw this was a 2D game and it's supposed to be quite challenging, I honestly didn't have high hopes for it. I was quite shocked how well I enjoyed the first level when I first played it. I didn't love it when I first played it. I thought it was good. It was pretty basic, which I expected, which is kind of its style. But the more I played the game, the more I started to understand it, and the more the levels I thought got more complex and actually really clever. Unlike what I thought with Limbo, the levels I honestly thought were much better. I know I was comparing two different complete wrong games for each other. However, they kind of, in a weird way, do the same sort of thing. They try to give you like these puzzles to solve. Obviously, Limbo is much more of a dark game compared to Shovel Knight, and they are completely different genres as well. But one game succeeded and one game didn't, easily. And the one for me that didn't succeed was Limbo, and the one that did succeed was obviously this game. The puzzles were much more clever and fair. That's much more important. The puzzles will actually go down to you being skillful at the game. Some of the other ones in Limbo I really thought were just pure luck, if you're going to pass through it or not, especially on the first playthrough. You had to die to learn out where you needed to go in a lot of the puzzles, at least in my experience. This game is nowhere near the same as that. You can see exactly what you got to do. You can see exactly where you got to go. It's just to see how skillful you are at doing that. And that's what I prefer. And that's what I love in a game. I love a game that challenges you on your skills and not on how lucky you are in a certain playthrough. And the same thing sort of goes for the unfairness. I thought that this game was hardly ever unfair. Once again, all the moments were pretty fair and challenging, but in a good way and not in a I'm going to screw you over way, which is excellent. The way every game should be. There should not be a moment where you're pretty much going to die unless you're lucky, or one area where it's just so over the top difficult is completely unfair. No areas are like this in this game. It seemed well balanced on difficulty. Some levels were harder than others, including the boss fights. Some boss fights were a lot easier than others on a much harder levels, which didn't really work for me. But honestly, the challenge was all there and it was all fair, and I did not mean to run. Also, for a 2D game, it's extremely clever. Once again, the thing I kind of liked with Limbo was there was clever moments in the game, especially at the start when you was fighting the spider, but it kind of disappeared later on. This game didn't have that. They kind of stayed the whole way through. It kind of started off a bit basic, like the first level was your generic grassland level where you're fighting a few guys. There were a few hidden surprises here and there, but then as the levels go along, none of them get too crazy, but some of them do get much more kind of clever, and I really do enjoy that. Especially that, I think it's this level called Lost City or something like that, where it's the lava level. That level was brilliant. That's my favourite level in the game by far. Just because of how literally one part of the level was just so basic yet so clever and so amazing, which is not even new in the sort of gaming market. It's definitely been done before, but it works so well and I loved it. And that of course was the moment where you had to fight the fire and the slimes, and how you had how the sort of the fire enemies turned into slimes under this green slimy stuff, but they also turned back into the fire enemies underneath fire. So if the ceiling was dropping fire, the slimes would turn into the fire. If they was dropping the slime, they'd turn into the slime. That's pretty cool, but the rest of it comes in the one part of the map where you're using these green balls to turn the fire into like this jelly for a while, like the slimy jelly stuff. It was so kind of basic. It is nothing clever or new, yet it works so well, and that's basically this game in a nutshell. It doesn't bring anything completely new to the table, but what it does do perfectly. So that's definitely the main reason why I ended up loving this game. Hands down, this is easily one of my favourite 2D games I've ever played. Even the retro sort of feeling in it was perfect. The story was basic, but in actually a really good way, like it should have been. It really did go with the retro feeling. There was actually quite a few good moments with the boss interactions when you finally met them in their castle or in their chambers. You finally come across them. They all had their own unique personalities and styles, and it was really good. But at the same time, the boss fights were the only thing I didn't 100% like about this game. Not because they're bad, because most of them, if not all of them, are reasonably good. It's just the fact that they was in the wrong order. The boss fights just didn't feel worthy to be on some of the levels they were. Such as, some levels were incredibly difficult, and then you get the boss fight at the end, which was just a slaughtering for the boss. You just destroy them in seconds without losing hardly any health. And then you got other levels were reasonably easy, and then you get to the end of the boss fight and it's actually quite difficult. One of the bosses I struggle with the most is the second or third one you can come across in the game, which is Spectre Knight. I think that's the boss that I died the most on out of the average Knight bosses. So it felt a bit wrong in that kind of way, but the boss fights were all clever and cool. I thought they was all very entertaining, at least. Maybe a bit easy, but they all had their own unique attacks, and I said before, their own unique areas they're in, and the way they behave is all different. So yeah, the boss fights were good, just maybe a bit in the wrong order for my liking, but mainly they was pretty fun to fight, so I guess that's all that matters. The final levels were actually reasonably difficult. When you get to the Tower of Fate, the levels are not really that long, but what they not make up for in length, they definitely make up for in difficulty. One of them, I can't remember, I think it was the first one, is actually insanely difficult, where you've got to climb, literally you're climbing upwards for a while, and one screw up will lead you to fall right down to the start again. That's kind of good challenge in my eyes. The challenge was all still fair. There was not one moment where it's going to be purely luck based for you to get through. It was really skill based and how well you can fight these enemies and how well you can jump or platform in these parts of areas. All worked perfectly. It was just a fair challenge. Something that a lot of games miss these days. The final boss fight was reasonably easy, unfortunately. It was a cool and clever idea though, I won't spoil it, just in case you want to play it, but it was kind of a cool idea. I did like it, and the end was actually pretty nice. It had me intrigued in the story at the end there for quite a while to see what's going to happen next, and it can get a bit kind of emotional in some places here and there as well. Done pretty well. So overall, I really did enjoy this game. I didn't think I was going to, but it's one of my favourite games I've played in quite a while, and one game I'm playing through now, which I won't mention yet because they'd be the next part, or probably be in a video like this themselves. So yeah, it was one of my favourite games I've played in a long while. Quite shocking. I think that's what really helped it. It's just the way I wasn't expecting much from it, yet it blew my mind. One of the easiest, one of the best 2D games I've ever played. So I definitely think that this game, if I had to rate it, would easily be a 9 out of 10 for me. And that's pretty huge because I don't normally rate 2D games like this very high. I'm not a casual 2D fan, I guess you can say. I do enjoy them here and there. I enjoy the sort of casual playthrough, maybe like a Mario title or something like that. But I'd never say that I would go out of my way to pick up these games. But now I might have to, because this game has definitely changed it for me. Changed the 2D sort of gaming thing, which I never thought I'd get into now. It looks like there's actually a possibility that I might start enjoying these. So anyway, I don't know if you've played this game or not. If you have, please let me know what you thought about the game. Did you enjoy it as much as I did, or did you think it was well overrated? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.